Hey guys, does capitalism have you down?
Does the constant pressure to be productive get to you?
Are you tired of being a cog in the machine?
Productivity porn has created a business around making you think that constantly being productive will lead to a fulfilling life. However, this mindset has created unhappy, anxious, and burnt out people.
On our podcast, we aim to entertain by providing useless information, just for the joy of it, and giving you time in the day to stop the gears of capitalism.
And if you're thinking, what's the point of this podcast? Then we invite you to be a part of the revolution against toxic productivity by embracing the useless things in life.
Welcome to episode 29 of the Very Unimportant People podcast.
Do less.
My name is Courtney, and I fully participated in capitalism this week. It did not go well.
And my name is Lidia, and I deep dove into theme park YouTube this weekend. And it did go well, as opposed to capitalism.
I mean...
It's so ironic, because our 40-hour work week episode just got released. And Courtney had a lived experience, huh?
I did. I really lived through it, guys. I got a job like this week, and they scheduled me for every single day. I worked a full week. I worked tomorrow is my 7th day in a row working, and I am probably going to quit within the next few days. It is awful. I love that. Yeah. It's destroying my soul and my will to live, and it's like minimum wage, and I don't want to work that hard for that little money. I'd rather not work for no money than work that hard for that little money. It's insulting.
Yeah, whatever happened to minimum wage, minimum effort?
Yeah.
But instead you have to run around, you're on your feet.
Absolutely not.
Customer service? I don't think so. Well, I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself and saying, fuck you, capitalism. I'm quitting your stupid game.
Yeah. I mean, I do kind of have another job lined up, so it's not like that much of a fuck you, but... Yeah, I can't do it. I'm done.
The first fuck you in a row of many. Yeah, guys.
I tried. It was an experiment.
If you ever feel like you can't do your job anymore, just quit. Always remember that you are disposable and just quit your job.
Yeah. That company's like, they're not going to care. They're going to be upset, but they're not upset because they're going to miss you as a person. They're upset because they're going to miss exploiting your labor for money.
Mm-hmm. And now they're going to have to hire someone else.
Which is hard because nobody wants to do that for that little money. So... always remember that. Somebody at work today told me that they were handing in their 2 weeks, and you know what I said to them? Congratulations. Congratulations. Good job.
Congrats.
So always remember.
Fuck this. Screw Big Brother, you know? Congrats.
Yeah. Anyways, roller coaster.
Yeah.
Theme
it
park
was really
YouTube.
Oh, man. It's great. People spend hours reviewing theme parks and like telling you about their whole experience. It was mostly about like Disneyland and Universal Studios and like Avatar World or Pandora, and then the Star Wars World that opened up recently, and how there's like nowhere to sit. That was like a big thing. Like there's nowhere to sit in Star Wars World. No, that should be next though. I just don't think they're owned by anybody that's like Disney or Universal to have that happen yet, but I would go.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I would be fucking there, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like so much fun. So yeah, it was really fun to deep dive. I mean, I've only been to like Universal Harry Potter World like once, and it was like so fucking busy and so fucking hot, and it was just like I don't even remember it. It was just such a blur of stress.
I feel like theme parks get less fun as you get older.
The magic kind of disappears, huh?
Yeah, and then
we're
it's
really
just, like,
just
a lot
there
of
to buy the
waiting in
merch
line for like a ride that is over in like 60 seconds, and then you have to wait in line for another 3 hours.
Yeah. It's just not worth it. I probably don't have I don't even remember if I went on a ride. I don't even think I did, because all the lineups were like 3 to 4 hours. It's like, what is that? That's half the day. I don't think so.
No one has time for that.
No, but I'll just see the sights and move along.
Yeah, we'll just watch the video YouTube reviews.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like we were there.
You know what that reminded me of, though, that you like deep dove in this theme park? The first thing that came to my mind was those two guys that everyone knows on the internet. Everyone knows, if you've gone through a true deep dive on YouTube, that fucking like dig pools in the middle of the forest with the sticks.
Dude, yeah.
That's a true
I
deep
love
dive.
those guys. Those guys, they just got like a YouTube plaque for reaching like 1 billion subscribers or something like that. Like, yeah, there's a picture of them online,
amazing.
like holding their gold YouTube plaque. They're just
It's
like in
so
front of their
random
hole.
too. I don't understand the videos at all. But
Well,
they're so
they're like making
calming.
pools.
Yeah, but why?
Right? They're like,
why are they
I don't
making
know.
pools in the middle of the
Because
jungle?
it's summer. I don't know.
Like, are they for people, or are they just like just for the video? They're doing it because that's a lot of work just for the video. I applaud those people. I worked for money
it's an
and I
art
couldn't
form.
do it. They're building pools in the middle of jungle for like
For free,
nothing.
for just no reason. Maybe people enjoy
Good
it.
for them.
I don't
Guys,
know. We don't see the aftermath.
that is a possibility without capitalism. You could just dig a pool in the middle of the jungle for no reason. There doesn't have to be a reason, just because you want.
What a world
That's a
that
beautiful
would be.
thing.
That is a beautiful thing.
So beautiful.
Nothing's getting hurt. It benefits the economy. It grows the economy, maybe.
No, without capitalism, we don't have to worry about the economy.
Oh, I love that. Oh, we can just
We don't
have
have to
pools for fun.
Pretend that we understand it anymore. We can just.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. Just fuck it. Yeah, I'm proud of those guys. They killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fun way to send your Sunday.
Yeah, it was fun. I was super hungover too, so I was just like letting it autoplay, and that's kind of what happened. That's kind of where I got to.
You said, Jesus, take the wheel, and
I sure did. And Jesus
took
took me
the
to
wheel?
Star Wars World.
yes, for lit.
I've never seen Star Wars.
I got it right.
I was like, oh wow, the stormtroopers. You have to run around with Leia, with Ray. I'm sorry.
hold on.
That's the right franchise, right? Star Wars has the
I have no idea.
stormtroopers. It is. Don't worry, guys. I got you. I just watched this on Sunday. Star Wars has the stormtroopers. Rey is the main character. She's a protagonist. And in the theme park, the stormtroopers and the resistance are like 10 feet away from each other, and they're like, where's the resistance? Where are they? I can't find them. And like they have to carefully never look over there, and the kids are like, they're right over there. And they're like, I can't see them. I can't turn around that way. My stormtrooper body won't let me. Some bullshit like that.
Wow,
So
you
they
learned a
tried.
lot.
Yeah. I could go off, but I won't. Because I don't know enough about Star Wars.
I just wrote
But it
that
seems
down
like
as
fun.
like a one-liner, by the way. What I let Jesus take the wheel, and he took me to Star Wars World.
Oh my god, you're so good at like catching
So
these
funny,
things, dude.
So funny.
Okay, everybody, now is the part of the podcast where we talk about the poll from last week.
Woo!
Let's get into it. Have you ever been professionally hypnotized? 100% of you said no.
Damn it.
That leads
Damn
me
it.
to believe that maybe hypnosis doesn't work. I don't
Or maybe
know.
people were hypnotized and just like don't know. You know? Maybe they don't
Ooh,
remember.
Yeah, they were forced to forget.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. Wow. So maybe you have been hypnotized. Dig deeper, guys. Dig deeper. These questions are hard-hitting questions. God damn it. The second one. Have you ever zoned out while driving, not really remembering your trip? 70% of you said yes.
Who's the 30% that hasn't done that?
Oh my god.
I mean, I'm concerned that we're all zoning out, but I think this is like a common experience of
I
drivers.
thought it was too.
Who
It
is
is a
so
common
attentive
experience,
that they're
apparently.
not. Maybe we're just bad drivers.
Maybe.
You're not supposed to do that.
Sometimes it happens. You're on autopilot. Like it's happened
Yeah,
to me
you
so
don't
many
even
times where I
notice.
go to like my old workplace and then I show up and I'm like, fuck, this is where I'm not supposed
This
to
is not where I'm supposed to be.
Oh gosh. Okay, the next question was, it was after a quote from last week's episode that said, really, we wouldn't know if we were hypnotized right now. And then we asked, are we hypnotized right now? 67% said nope,
Oh,
we're good.
we have a lot of cynics in the audience.
Yes,
I appreciate
seems
that.
we do.
I appreciate. I'm a cynic as well. That's fair. But really, you
Right?
wouldn't know.
I guess so. I totally understand.
No.
33% of you, I feel you. I get you. Next question was, have you ever taken a cutting from a plant store? 70% of you said no.
Uh,
And we even got a DM that said, that's theft.
really?
Yeah.
We know. That's what we said on the podcast. It is theft.
yeah, it is theft, but nature is free. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's theft, but it really
Think
shouldn't
about
be.
Exactly. That's the whole point of last week's
Hmm.
episode. So tune into that if you guys haven't heard it yet. Next question was, have you ever gone foraging? And this one is 50-50.
Oh, wow. That surprises me.
Kind of cool. A lot more people than I thought have gone foraging. But I guess foraging could mean like anything. You see a wild strawberry and you're like, oh my God, that's
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's
cool.
true. That's true.
And the last question was, do you grow your own veggies or fruits in any capacity? 55% of you said yes.
Oh, I love that. That's
So
oh,
cute.
it's so special,
Yeah,
guys. Good job. Good job. Growing your own food. It's
that's
so
really great.
good.
Yeah, keep doing that. Save money, live better, you know?
You
That's
don't really save
amazing.
money,
Congrats,
but
guys.
live better. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of more money, but well, thank you so much for participating, everybody. I can't wait to get the poll up this week. Make sure you tune into our Instagram at very.unimportant.people. And I said tune in. I didn't say turn in. So don't the poll will be up on Wednesdays/Thursdays. And let's get back to the show.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go. Let's get into opinions. Let's
All
get into topics. Let's talk about the world. Let's talk about some interesting things that the audience definitely wants to hear about. You don't have time to deep dive, so we do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this week, I deep dove for you into the diamond industry. And my original intention was to basically just like debunk the diamond industry for everybody. But in doing so, I kind of formed an opinion, which is that I think that the diamond industry created the world's first influencers. Like influencer culture. I think the diamond industry started it.
I love that.
So first, let's do a little history lesson, everyone.
I love history lessons.
So diamond rings and diamond engagement rings were not popular before like the 1940s. A couple of people got diamond rings, but they weren't like any more valuable or any more popular than any other gemstone. I think the most popular were like rubies and sapphires.
Ooh.
And they were
cute.
all just considered to be like rare gems. And it was nice to get a rare gem as your engagement ring. It didn't have to be a diamond ring. But then,
Yeah, I love that.
in the late 19th century, there was a huge diamond mine that was discovered in South Africa. And the people who were working in the owners of the diamond mines in South Africa already, this scared them because they knew that what used to be a rare gem was now something that was really easy to get. And there was now a lot of supply. So they knew that they were going to start to lose money. So what they did is they formed a cartel called the De Beers Consolidated Mines, which I'm sure we've all heard of De Beers. They are
Yes.
the biggest
bell.
diamond company in the world. So this cartel was basically just like a group of the businesses that were selling diamonds at the time that came together and made an agreement. And what this agreement was that they agreed that they would start to buy up this huge diamond mine, buy up all of like the diamond mining industry, and kind of all facets of it. And they would use their control of it to limit the diamond supply in the States
Smart.
to create the illusion that diamonds were still rare.
You
and
gotta
that they
do what
had
you gotta
value.
do. Yeah, yeah. That's kind of crazy. This kind of
kinda
reminds me
rude.
of like
I
the
don't
gold
think-
rush a little bit because
Yeah.
people were like picking up hella gold because they were like, holy shit, there's so much of it. And they were picking up a lot of gold, but it was still valuable, wasn't it? They were still like, we need gold.
Yeah, I mean, it was still valuable, but I think that was because even though they were picking up lots of it, there still was a scarcity of gold. But like the amounts of diamond reserves that they found in South Africa would mean that there would be no scarcity. Like anyone would be able to get a diamond. There would be like
Oh,
no
shit.
limit in demand. Like they're huge reserves of diamonds.
Whoa, that's so cool. Man, mining
this is the market economy,
crazy.
so-
That's so cool.
So they kind of designed this system where they would look up how many Americans were expected to get married that year. And then they would limit their supply based on that number. And that
How
is
did they get
how
that information? I love that.
statistics.
The fuck? Oh, the census?
Statistics.
Cool.
And at that point, De Beers, the cartel, controlled 90% of the market.
So they just didn't tell people how many diamonds they really had? This was
really.
all just a heist?
Yeah. So people still
cool.
believed that they were rare, and people were
Yeah.
still paying massive amounts of money for them. But that's just
How
because...
did they keep it so quiet for so long? I guess that's what happens when you have a cartel.
I
You're
guess
like,
so.
Don't fucking tell nobody, bitch.
I don't think it was that kind of cartel, but that's the first place
Okay.
that my mind went to. I was
Right?
like, fuck it up. And then, so this limiting of the diamond supply was coupled with an intensive marketing scheme. So in 1993, the son of the founders, his name was Harry Oppenheimer, which I'm sure we all recognize that name from Selling Sunset.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So Harry recruited a marketing firm that was called Ayer to advertise diamonds in the U.S. So diamonds were gaining traction really slowly at this point, and they were very small diamonds, and they were very low quality, and they still weren't really like the norm. Mm-hmm. And so Ayer set out to launch a campaign that would convince men that diamonds were the only way to show your love to your partner, and that the strength and depth of your love was directly and equally proportional to the size and price of the diamond ring.
Oh man, they had no idea what they were doing, or they knew all too well. They were just throwing a freaking fishing line out there and hoping to catch a fish, and then when they reeled it up,
they were
the
like,
fishing
wow.
line had turned into a net and rom-coms. Like, they literally started rom-coms. Like, the amount of movies that are centered around, like, I don't have enough money for the diamond, but I'm going to spend it anyways.
That is a marketing strategy of Ayer. So Ayer not only convinced men that they had to buy a diamond ring, but they also wanted to convince women that the only way that a courtship would end would be in a diamond ring, and that there was, like, a certain progression in life. You know how, like, people believe that you have to, like, graduate and then get married and then have kids, that the diamond ring was an essential and pivotal part of this life progression.
It was like the catalyst to getting married for real. Huh. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
And this is kind of the way that they started what I think is the start of influencer culture. So rather than marketing their brand or the diamond, they marketed the idea of a diamond. And they could only do this, of course, because of the monopoly that they have over diamonds. But they started paying movies in Hollywood to use diamond rings in their films as symbols of love. So in the movie,
smart.
if there was a couple that were going to get married, they would pay that film to have the person propose with a diamond ring. They would also pay movies that had like a robbery or a heist to steal diamond rings and to steal diamonds to make it seem like they were really like worth a lot.
That's so cool.
To implant that idea in everyone's head that like diamonds are expensive, they're worth a lot.
Diamond heist.
Desired. They're like, oh, people want diamonds? I want
so
a
crazy.
diamond.
I wonder if there used to be emerald heists and ruby heists.
Yeah, probably. They're worth a lot more.
Damn, that's crazy. You could get an emerald for like $7.99. Like, that's so wild.
And so they also started submitting stories to selected like gossip magazines that would talk about celebrities' engagements, and it would emphasize the size of the ring that had been exchanged and the fact that it was a diamond ring. So it'd be like really subtle, not like De Beers, not like a full page ad, but it would be a story about a celebrity who got a diamond ring. And this person loves her so much because this diamond ring was so beautiful and expensive.
Yeah,
and that means like their marriage is going to last forever. They would also submit photos of celebrities wearing rings to the magazine so that people could see that they were sporting their diamond
They're really
rings.
doing the most. And they weren't transparent at all about it. Like, you know how now you have to be like, paid sponsorship.
No, they
By the
weren't,
way,
because
this is sponsored by
this was the
Oppenheimer.
first time that like people had done this, right? So they didn't. There were no rules.
Oh my god.
Okay, and they had this in 1946. They had a weekly service called the Hollywood Personalities, which provided 125 leading newspapers with descriptions of the diamonds that had been worn by movie stars within like that past week. They did this every week and called it the Hollywood Personalities.
125 freaking diamonds a week, dude.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. How many celebrities are there in the world? God damn.
Well, no, so they would provide 105 newspapers with descriptions of the diamonds that had been worn.
Oh, okay.
So they would just send it
Wow.
out to like massive amounts of magazines. They
That's
also
crazy.
commissioned a series of portraits called the Engaged Socialites, which were supposed to act as role models for their lower class wage earners to look up to,
You know what that sounds like?
to aspire to be. What does it sound like, Lydia?
Propaganda.
Yeah. It does, and it's also just fucking rude.
Also rude as fuck.
Rude.
I mean, that's the definition of propaganda. Rude.
Rude. This is something that I found really weird, and I can't figure out if they actually did this or if this was just in a proposal, but there was a program that would go around to high schools, and all of the lectures would revolve around diamond rings. Which I found
What?
weird, but apparently it was part of their marketing strategy to get them young.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, dude. And it fucking worked because,
Yeah.
like, for the
And
longest time, I
yeah.
had no idea. Like, I was like, obviously, it's the diamond ring. That's the only end all
Obviously.
and be all situation. Like, they did
It's
a
the
really
only
good
option.
good number on that generation because then in 1998, when my parents had me, guess what? Diamond ring was there, baby.
Diamond ring.
And I just know no other way. Oh my god, dude, they fucked us up.
They did.
That's so
They
cool.
sure did. They also paid Marilyn Monroe to write and sing the song "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend."
I love that song. It was in Gossip Girl and it's everything. Yeah, they do like a little musical number to it where like Blair's having a dream and then like Serena and like Chuck are in it and they're like diamonds. Oh god, it's so good. She's like walking down the staircase. She looks amazing. Yeah, so Gossip Girl was a part of it. It was part of the culture.
And then I wrote down a quote from the actual advertising company they were explaining their advertising strategy in 1948 for a newspaper. And they had said, "We spread the word of diamonds worn by stars of screen and stage, by wives and daughters of political leaders, and by any woman who can make the grocer's wife and the mechanic's sweetheart say, 'I wish I had what she has.'"
Wow.
So they basically operate off of jealousy, making people like wish that they were someone else and being like, that person, you know, is
True.
rich and famous and like everyone wants to be her, so we're just gonna give her a diamond ring. And that's why it is like influencers culture.
Wow.
That's what
I don't-
influencers are.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that like influencer culture was based around jealousy. That never crossed
think
my
it
mind.
is.
That's like such an interesting point. I
kind
guess
of
so,
is. It's
'cause,
like,
you
I
see
want what
someone
she
with
has.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh, that's how you get nice hair. Oh, that's how you get
Yeah.
nice skin. Oh,
I can
that's
have
how
a
your
nice life
lashes
if I
are
do
so
these
nice.
things. I want what she has.
Wow. Mind blowing.
Yeah. And in the 1940s, De Beers was presented with the slogan that is probably one of the most successful slogans ever created.
Can I guess what it
and
is?
it's been used ever since. Go for it.
Diamonds are forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is Diamonds Are Forever. And this slogan was written by a woman copywriter. The copywriter was female. Her name was Frances Gurity, which
Her.
somehow feels like internalized misogyny, but I'm proud of her. I don't think she intended that, but like it
No, I
also
don't
just
think
feels
so.
like it's convincing.
She's just
people
trying to
that
sell
they're,
the
like,
product,
weirdos.
you know.
Yeah. And initially the head person at Ayer hated the slogan. He did not think it would work. He did not think it would be successful.
Oh,
He
come
at the
on.
last minute approved it because he was like, we will just use it as a placeholder until we find
Yeah.
something better. And it ended up being the most successful slogan.
Yeah, it's not even like a slogan anymore. It's just a part of popular culture. Like people just use it. Damn.
And the article that I was reading like wrote this like the diamond is forever, and then I wrote down the next sentence that he wrote because it's really funny. It's really sassy. So he said like a diamond is forever, and then he said, ooh, and then he said, even though diamonds in fact can be shattered, shipped, discolored, or even incinerated to ash. True.
Just like your relationship.
Got a point.
Oh my god.
And not only did this slogan present the image of eternal love, but it also served a secondary purpose that would assure that diamonds wouldn't be resold, because reselling diamonds affects that calculation that they do about how many people are going
Right.
to need diamonds, and it obviously makes the supply of diamonds more, so prices of diamonds drop if people start reselling their diamonds.
Yeah, yeah.
So this slogan helped ensure that people wouldn't resell their diamonds and that they'd buy a new diamond
But if
they
diamonds
were
are
like getting engaged
forever?
to a new person.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, people aren't
But why
reselling their
can't-
diamonds. They have to keep it forever.
If it,
It's forever.
oh, okay. I thought it meant like the diamond just lasts forever, so you could just give it to as many people as you want.
No.
But I guess it didn't work that way because
Yeah.
mixed in with the relationship and stuff. Like you don't want to think that your diamond is going to some other
Yeah,
girl.
because diamonds are forever. They last forever, so you have to keep it forever. It's yours
Yeah, makes
forever.
sense.
Just like your love
Damn.
is forever.
Wow, that's so crazy. That caused like so many freaking issues in the future because now it's like when people get engaged, and let's say they only get engaged for 2 months, and then they're like, oh God, we have to break this off. What a horrible mistake. It's like, what do we do with the ring? Is it too soon to give it back? Do you keep it? Would you be cool with him giving it to someone else? This dilemma would not exist if it wasn't for this freaking the diamond heist. Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, kind of genius. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's
It is
that's
kinda
better
genius,
than
but it
breakfast.
also like makes me mad.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that makes sense. We got tricked, but we didn't get tricked. Technically, our parents got tricked, so we could blame it on that generation.
True. Not our fault.
Why'd
Once
you fall
again-
for marketing schemes?
Once again,
boomers?
everyone, write it down. The boomers fucked it up.
Yeah.
It was not us. It was the boomers. In between 1939 and 1979, the profits of De Beer went from 23 million to 2.1 billion. And not surprisingly, they also increased their advertising budget from $200,000 to $10 million a year. Because it's just so successful. Like this way of advertising, this
can't.
fucking like influencer culture just works so well. They literally
Wow.
brainwashed an entire generation.
They did the ad. They did influencer ads first, dude. They literally.
Like just taking the fact that
Wow, that's so fucking cool.
our great grandparents' generations didn't really know about diamond engagement rings. They knew about them,
Yeah.
but they weren't like a thing. And within that tiny time frame, almost every single couple in like the Western world that gets engaged today has a diamond ring because of this one company.
Wow.
Because of their advertising strategy. Like that's insane.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
so fucking crazy. This wow. I understand why you're mad, but like, damn, that's crazy.
It's
I feel like
impressive, yeah.
it kind of throws a little bit of like a monetary value onto like getting married and like your love or whatever, which is kind of
Yeah.
really sad because it's like, what if you just like don't have the money and you just like love someone so much and you still want to get
Yeah.
married? But now we're at this point where it's like if they don't get you a ring, then you're not even really engaged.
Yeah.
Like you can't just
And if
say
it's too
you're
small,
engaged.
then like it's insulting.
It's like, oh, well, he's gonna get you a bigger one on your wedding day, right? It's like, yeah, maybe if he has the freaking money. This kind of reminds me of like, I don't know if this is too far of a stretch, but you know how have you heard of like the dowry, where someone will give someone like a hella money to marry their daughter or something like that? Kind of reminds me
Yeah.
of that, except like, it's not a gift to the family. It's like
Yeah.
a gift to the capitalism lords.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It could be similar. Except
A little bit.
if you try to resell a diamond, if you do, if you defeat the diamonds are forever slogan and you try to resell a diamond, you actually can only get 20 to 40% of what you originally paid for it, which is the real market value of a diamond.
Oh,
That's the value of the diamond without the inflation from limiting the supply. It's 20% of what the person paid for it. That's
sad.
nothing.
Wow. More people need to know that, I think. I wonder how people feel about getting engaged to with a diamond that was previously someone else's. Like if you went to a pawn shop and bought a diamond ring. Would you tell your partner and be like, yeah, I actually got it for 20% of its market value? Or would you just be like, oh my God, this was so expensive, babe.
Okay.
I love you so much.
I think most Zillennial, Gen Z, younger millennials would be absolutely fine with it, in my opinion. I think a lot of the older generations would not, because I'm sure everyone remembers there was like this ridiculous headline, I think like a year or two ago, that was like, why aren't millennials buying diamonds anymore?
Yeah, I remember
It
that.
was like a huge problem that millennials were choosing not to buy diamonds. And in reality, it's just because like millennials, I mean, we have taste, we have morals,
Diamonds are nice.
and we have debt, we
True.
have low wages, and we can't afford to pay for something that is inflated to 80% of what it should actually be.
So ridiculous.
Like if someone's going to spend their money, they might as well spend it on something that's actually worth what they're putting their money into. And that is not attached to like violent wars and violations of human rights.
Yeah, that's
Because,
true.
I mean,
The whole
I'm not
blood
going to get
diamond.
into the blood diamond thing, but everyone knows about the blood diamond thing, and that like the diamond industry is not ethical.
Yeah.
So like, why
hella
would
corrupt.
you give that much money and then something that's not even
That's so
worth your
true.
money, and then something that's paying to like hurt people
to exploit people
and destroy
yeah.
livelihoods?
Yeah,
Why?
that's such a good point. And there's
That's
been
why
such a
millennials aren't buying
turn
diamonds.
towards, stuff that's ethical and reusable and long lasting
Exactly.
and stuff like that. But at a fair
Environmentally
price,
friendly.
You know?
I wouldn't be mad, honestly.
I don't think
If
the blood
somebody
diamond thing
bought me-
happening anymore. I'm not gonna lie. I think they sent people to jail. Oh, it is? Never
Still
mind.
happens. Yeah,
Fuck.
but you can just get like conflict-free diamonds now.
Oh my god.
Like,
For
yeah,
the
you know how you
millennials.
buy coffee sometimes and there's like that stamp of like rainforest certified. You can get conflict-free diamonds. Like, great.
Okay.
Thanks for trying to profit off of that.
Wow, that's so fucked up. Marked up by another 40% because it's conflict.
Yeah, because it's conflict-free, so
Bro,
you know, it's ridiculous.
that is so
And,
ridiculous.
Yeah, diamonds aren't actually rare. They should
What
not
a
cost
huss.
as much as they do. They're only rare because De Beers has such a tight hold over the industry, and because they had such an effective marketing strategy that they brainwashed an entire generation to completely changing everything that they believe about engagements, which is very impressive.
I'm so impressive.
Very.
Holy shit.
And they were the original influencers.
Absolutely. Absolutely the original influencers. No one was doing it before them. Maybe.
And something else interesting is they in 1967, in the 1960s, they launched another really intensive marketing campaign in Japan. And this one is even more interesting because in Japan, the whole occurrence of an engagement didn't really even happen. So they had a culture around
Really?
like
Cool.
arranged marriages and no premarital like relationships. So they didn't have that whole like, at least in American culture, people were still presented with a ring. So it's like easier to get people to just like change the type of ring that they were giving. But yeah, so they started an aggressive advertising campaigns that marketed diamonds as a symbol of modern Western values. And it completely uprooted local traditions.
No.
And when the campaign begun in the 1960s, only 5% of Japanese women had a diamond engagement ring. And by the end of it, 60% of Japanese women received a diamond engagement ring. From 5 to 60 in 20 years.
Wow.
5% to 60%. Completely changed
I can't believe
thousands of years
That's so hard to believe.
of tradition.
And they were like, oh, never mind. Holy shit. That's so crazy. Wow, the Western world has a freaking hold on everything, bro.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah. And then they tried the same thing in like Brazil and it just didn't work. Brazilians were like, no,
That's stupid.
no thanks. Why would I spend that much money?
Oh my god, dude.
So,
Oh, well, that's kind of
yeah.
sad. I mean, I feel like the Western, like the one about America. It's fine, you know, we deserve it. But like Japan, that sucks. Like we didn't have any cool like cultural stuff going on for us really, you know. We just had like the ring. But like
yeah, exactly. It was already like a part of
stuff going on.
the cultural norm to have a ring. But it is sad that an entire tradition was uprooted within 20 years because some white Englishman wanted to make some more money.
Like us. Yeah, seriously. So was it worth it? Well, yeah, probably. He's probably like, yeah, I love my money.
So, yeah, I invite everybody to not do diamond rings because diamond rings are not forever. And they do not symbolize love because you're just paying for an inflated thing that's not actually valuable. You can buy secondhand diamonds. I think that's cool. Vintage. It has a story attached to it.
Vintage
it's good
diamonds.
For the environment. It is conflict free. It maybe wasn't conflict free initially, but it is conflict free. Or you can be really cool and get a cool engagement ring with a different stone. Be kind of unique. Get a cool color. So that was my opinion. Yeah,
that was
about the diamond industry and about how they were the initial influencers and they started influencer culture. And now it's extremely successful on Instagram.
Yeah,
it
seriously.
Works. Sell the idea, guys, not the product, not the brand.
Oh my god. What does the brand stand for? It's so good. Well, thank you, Courtney.
You're welcome.
That was super fun. Love the diamond industry. Love debunking the diamond industry.
Same. Would you accept a secondhand diamond ring from your future partner? If you
they would have to lie to me. They would have to be like,
oh, okay.
It's my grandma's. It's vintage. It's been passed down through generations.
Why does it make a difference if it's your grandma's?
Because I'm brainwashed.
Somebody else's grandma's. It's somebody's grandma's ring.
Yeah, that's a good point. Somebody's grandma wore it at one point. Yeah, I guess there's like love behind it. But what if there isn't love behind it? Like, what if the love wasn't forever?
What if your partner's grandma got divorced too?
That's true. And that's like how the ring is still in the family. She didn't marry again. She's like, this is from my divorced husband. I've been single for years and I love it.
You can use it.
Yeah. Single for 25 years, never been happier. Oh my god. You know, right. I don't know. I would have to think about it. But like, I would appreciate the lie. But then if I found out, oh my god. Oh my god.
So safe to say,
why?
Lydia's future partner, if you're listening, probably get her a new ring.
Yeah, probably do. It doesn't even have to be a diamond at this point. Like, you could just get me something. Wait.
What?
You know what? It does have to be a diamond.
You still want the diamond ring?
Kind of, yeah.
Lydia just learned about the entire like marketing ploy and the facade, but she's like, nah, still brainwashed.
I don't know. Like, I still live in a society. I mean, but fair. At the same time, some of my friends, one of my friends has gotten married, and they got like an emerald ring, and it was like really pretty and stuff like that. It was really cool. Yeah, and like no one thinks that the marriage is any less legit just because they have like an emerald instead of a regular diamond. Yeah.
But she still needs the diamond ring.
Oh god. What kind of rock do you want?
Anything but a diamond. Yeah, that's really my only requirement. Anything but a diamond, and also ethically sourced.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with secondhand. I really wouldn't care. Vintage.
Yeah, I like the vintage too, because I think things used to be made nicer. People were like, "This is only going to be sold once. Like, I need to make it." It wasn't mass produced or anything like that. So there was actually a lot of care that used to go into diamond making.
Yes, but I'd be down.
I guess now it's not as much. Yeah. Well, you're a good person. I guess I'm not a good person. I live in a society.
Doesn't mean you're a bad person.
You know?
Yeah, that's fair. You want what you want. It's fine. You want the diamond ring and get that
diamond
ring.
But it's like, it's just because of marketing that I want the diamond ring.
But that's why we get most of the things that we get. Just because of marketing.
True.
So it's fine. Everyone does it.
There's an average gal, you know? Just the basic basic bitch.
And like this whole argument isn't to say that like a diamond ring isn't valuable and a diamond ring like means your relationship is less or like you shouldn't get a diamond ring. It's just that I don't think that they should be valued more than other rings. That's really my main thesis. You can still get a diamond ring. That's fine.
Okay.
But, like, I feel like people just need to be aware of the fact that like they're not any more rare or any more special. A little inflated. But the gesture's still the same.
Yeah.
For a diamond ring,
true.
for any other ring. It's still the gesture. That person's still like saved up and like regardless of what it cost, I'm sure they still, you know, like saved up, bought what they could, gave it to you. It's still such a nice gesture.
Yeah, it is. I'll think about it. I'll definitely think about it. I'll give you that. I'll give you an update next week, everybody.
Okay,
see how I feel then. Okay, guys, welcome to the second half of the podcast. And this week, you know, I went for a little stroll down Scientology lane. I wanted to see what the tea was.
Because, that's what does.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, what's an interesting topic? And I just remembered this one time that I was in downtown Toronto and I walked past the Church of Scientology with my two friends and we stood in front of it for about 30 seconds. And then someone in a suit came out and started talking to us and I ran. And I was like, why did I run? my brain is so, I don't know. I was just a fight or flight response. And I have just heard so many horrible things about Scientology just through the media that I was like, damn, bro, like, I don't want to get involved in this at all. We stopped in front of it, like, by accident. We were like, oh my God, it says Scientology on it. And I was like, what do you guys know about Scientology? And they were like, you don't want to get involved in that shit. That shit's crazy. It's a cult, blah, 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 blah. So today I was like, is it a cult? So I want to take you guys through the good side of Scientology. But obviously,
are we going to acknowledge that there's a bad side? Or
Dude,
are we going to go through the bad side?
Are we going to acknowledge that there's a bad side? You might end up depressed by the end of this.
Okay. So we also, I thought this was just like a pro Scientology section.
I couldn't. At first I was on the website and I was looking at all of their things and
you're like,
just on the first hand, you know, on the one side of the hand, you got some good shit. You got some, it's based on this belief that being a human is neither your brain nor your body, but it's called your spirit. And they call it your thetan, which is based on the Greek symbol theta, which is a symbol for thought or life. Kind of interesting. So they believe in like a spirit, similar to Buddhism. Somebody else said, it wasn't my words. So a previous Scientologist said that they were like, oh, it's kind of like Buddhism, like it's really good. Spirituality. They believe that humans are immortal. And the spirit, which is inside you, observes your thoughts and feelings and just like leaves you when you die and goes into another human being and you just live on continuously.
So they kind of believe in reincarnation.
Yeah, so they believe in reincarnation, but they also believe that because you get reincarnated and you live forever, this means that you have endless trauma. Like every life that you've lived is affecting the life that you currently live right now.
That explains a lot.
That's what they think. Right?
I get it now.
So they say that this
I understand anxiety.
It comes from a previous life. Don't worry about it.
It makes sense.
Yeah. That's also, well, on a lighter note, that's also how they explain talent. They explain super talented children because they're like, damn, like, how did you get so freaking good? Like, some people are just born with a natural affinity for music, for example, or art maybe. And they say it's because that they had many lifetimes to practice it. It's also how they explain deja vu.
Why is everybody not good at everything then?
Maybe you just
if we all had
remembered
thousands of
everything.
Years to practice things. I feel like I should be a lot better at things. I feel like I
maybe
should have
something
a talent
different
too.
in each lifestyle. In each life, maybe you were super different, you know? So it's
maybe.
like you never had enough time to focus on only one thing because you were different in each of them. But also, like, some people are born with the ability to be able to remember their past life and like remember everything from that time. And some people aren't because we aren't like clear-headed, unlike people who are in Scientology who are clear and they're like, they've been cleared and they, you know, they remember all of their past lives and they're working on being even more enlightened and remembering even more of their past.
Okay, this definitely feels like a rebranded Buddhism.
Totally.
Isn't
right?
that enlightenment?
I don't think so. I think enlightenment is like reaching a stage
Nirvana.
Nirvana, yeah, and acceptance and peace and tranquility and like just being outside of yourself, that you return back to the soul host. I think it's called the Brahmin. And you return back to it, and then you can live in Nirvana and like live there forever. But with Scientology, you never die. There's no end goal. You just like, if you live in Scientology, then you can continue to clear yourself more and more, and then I guess become more enlightened and have better lives in the future. So it's like you're not only looking out for yourself right now, you're looking out for your next self, how your Thetan will live on.
I don't love the idea of living forever. I think we know this, but it's cool.
Well, luckily people forget pretty much instantly the second that they're born about their past life, except apparently the trauma lives on. It's like generational trauma. Like the shit like just stays inside of you and it just kind of lives on. So yeah, that's how they kind of think about the soul and the spirit, the Thetan. So the practice is to heal all your trauma, including being born is a traumatic experience for you. Being born, being birthed, being brought into this world. They try to get people to remember it and work through it.
How? How do you get somebody to remember?
Tools. Okay, this
being
is what
born.
Bro, I've been trying to figure this shit out for time. Okay, I went to this blog of this guy who used to be a Scientologist, and he's been running this blog for like 30 years, just like debunking every single Scientology thing. And he said, he was asking, he was interviewing someone, and he was like, when you were in Scientology, like, do you remember everything from your past life? And the guy was like, no, unfortunately, I wasn't creative enough to fabricate my past life, so I wasn't able to remember it. Like, he kind of thinks it's a scam, and like people don't actually remember their past lives and being born and their like past experiences up to 3 years old, because apparently you don't really have like a conscience up until you're about 3. That's not a part of Scientology. That's just a fun fact I heard yesterday.
Interesting.
Yes.
But I'm sure Scientology just says that up until 3 is just too traumatic. So you
pretty
forget
much.
it?
Because you're cold, you're hungry, you're freaking out the entire time. Being born is traumatizing. And they say that you can remember as far back as being like a fetus.
No.
They actually say you can remember the traumas that happened to you when you were in the womb.
The traumas?
Yeah, like let's say your mom fell. You like get traumatized by that. Like your body is like, oh God, pain, suffering, stress. And you have
I'm
to
pretty
try to
sure
work
my
through
life
that.
now is a lot more traumatic than my life in the womb. And I don't forget now. I don't get that. I don't understand what the trauma was. Like, I'm pretty sure my pregnancy and my birth was traumatic to someone, but I don't think it was to me. Like,
but you
I was okay.
Brought into a world. No, you were.
One
cold,
person had like
hungry.
Consciousness and just had to go through that, and it wasn't me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think
point.
I
But
was
apparently, you do have
traumatized by my
consciousness.
I don't think
You constantly have consciousness. The Thetan enters you
Science has
immediately when
disproved
you're in the
this.
womb.
No. No. How far back do they think that you have consciousness in the womb when you're a fetus?
When you're like a sperm.
From like conception?
Yeah.
Oh,
literally
okay.
from conception.
Okay. I wonder what their stance on abortion is.
They actually don't care.
Really?
Yeah, they actually don't
That's
care about like
interesting.
getting abortions or like being on birth control, and they give total freedom to people who are in Scientology to like do
How does
whatever
that
they
line
want
up with that
their
belief
families.
that like fetuses have consciousness? That's not murder to them?
No.
That's confusing.
It is confusing, isn't it?
I don't know how I feel. I'm confused.
It's like, oh, nice. But then it's like, bro, how can I? Yeah, right? It's like, how can you remember that much? I honestly don't even want to remember that much. I'm not going to lie.
So
That's
are they
a
okay
lot.
with murder? Like,
No, they're not.
anyways.
Oh, we'll get into that.
I'm so confused.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much it. I mean,
move
you can
on.
stay confused, but that's kind of what the basis around it is. There's a lot of other shit that goes into it. Well, that's kind of their base ideology, and everything functions off of this ideology, right? So it started off in the 50s as a psychiatry thing. The man who started it all, L. Ron Hubbard, was seeing inhumane practices being used to treat people. So people were being lobotomized. People were getting shock therapy. And he was like, he was like woke. he said this is not okay. So he kind of developed this self-help style book, I'm going to call it, which claimed that through auditing and unveiling centuries of trauma, which are called engrams, you can cure yourself of your mental health and of other neurosis. And it also like helps people interact with others in a healthy way and like teaches you how to communicate properly and how to be able to like live your fullest life and have a truly like rational life without any interferences from past trauma, which can lead to like depression, anxiety, like other types of shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
And
sounds
after
reasonable.
enough of these, and after enough of these auditing sessions, people would become clear and they could live their full potential and take further lessons about learning how to like interact and just continue to heal yourself.
Okay. I still don't get that part.
Which part?
The whole like healing from your traumas of birth.
Oh, the healing from your past traumas from like other lives. You just have to accept it for now. Just accept it for the next 25 minutes.
Okay. All right. So that's not
just
part
what
of
it
this
is.
description. Okay.
No, not really. I mean,
All
like,
right.
I don't know how to go
Something-
deeper than that. Like, you just have to believe it. If you believe it, you believe it. Maybe read his book,
I'm good.
Deuteronomics and Scientology. Okay. So basically, this book was like the start of Scientology. It didn't start as a religion, but I mean, it started off like pretty solid. Like he was like, this is wrong and there needs to be something else that can be done about it. And these auditing sessions are basically therapy sessions for people and just to be able to like speak and express themselves, and someone guides you through like a meditation almost. But once he started practicing these audits on people, he realized that he needed a license to do psychiatry. He wasn't licensed.
Oh, uh-oh.
So the loophole he
Whoopsie.
found was to turn it into a religion.
Whoops.
I know.
Uh-oh,
And he was like,
man.
fuck. So now he turned it into a religion because he's like, well, I want to help people through this practice, but I need money.
I had a fishy feeling because I thought that Scientology was sounding way too rational, way too okay. I was like, you know what, this
What do you mean?
sounds reasonable. It's a doctor published a therapy, what's it called? Strategy
Manual
program
strategy
that was
Yeah.
working. I was like, this
Right?
sounds okay. How did it turn into what it is? But I get it now. He wasn't a psychiatrist.
No, he wasn't, but he had good ideas. Like the ideas at the start were pretty freaking solid. I mean,
But-
people just needed therapy. People just needed someone to talk to. Okay, we don't know.
Here's an idea.
Okay.
Here's an idea.
Yeah.
Realize you're not a psychiatrist. You can't actually practice this. Maybe the option isn't to make it a religion, but to go to med school and become a psychiatrist, to become a licensed psychiatrist. That is the right option in that stance, not let's make this a religion to bypass it.
I know,
Just
right?
get the license.
Well, he already did enough school, you know? He was a fictional writer, so he
Well, then maybe move on to something else in life. Maybe that's not for you.
maybe keep writing. I mean, I don't know. So he was
Yeah,
like,
you
fuck
could still
it.
publish those
Religion.
to someone. You didn't have to make it
Yeah.
into a religion. You could just be like, this is helpful to people.
He felt very strongly. He genuinely felt
Open a
like he was helping
business.
people.
Buy a building. Don't make it into religion. That's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess
I feel
it's a
weird
little
about that. You can't just make a religion. Like,
You can. If you have enough people, you can make a religion. I think
just
you
be
need like
like-
100 people.
I need to.
Well, if it makes you feel better, it's only recognized in the USA.
Yeah, it's. Okay.
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 So he
Okay.
started using celebrities and influencers.
Hold on. Okay, no, we need to go back.
Okay.
So people are aware of the fact that he made it up. He made up a religion.
Yeah.
And people are like, I believe in it. The person who made it is open about the fact that it's made up. But people are like, this is totally legitimate. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it.
I don't know. People just want help. People just want someone to listen to. They just want something. They just want, it was like a. It was
I believe
like a
in this made up
pseudoscience type of
thing.
They just
This
wanted.
made up thing is real. It's
just
real,
wanted the
but it's
help.
made up. I don't get
That's
it.
how people
Okay.
feel about crystals. That's how people feel about horoscopes.
But that's not how they feel about it.
Yeah, I guess they're
would
not
be
like, this
like-
is my devoted religion.
That would be like Jesus being like, yo, God doesn't exist. I made this up. And everyone being like, true. True that. And just carrying on with Christianity.
Well, he never got the chance to tell them. Or that part wasn't passed along. And
Him
everyone was
being
like,
like, I
"Just
didn't actually
ignore
die
that."
for 3 days. I just
Oh, right.
that was all an
I don't know.
illusion. It was a
Well,
magic
people say that the
trick.
Bible is a metaphor, so I don't really know. People
That's
love
true.
this shit, though. They ate it up. They were like believing it. They were like, yeah, man, I want to get healed. I think it started off as such an innocent thing. Maybe they even knew that it wasn't a legit religion, but it was just like, they were like, yeah, I want to get healed. I want to get better. In the 60s and 70s, people were all about like spirituality and self-knowledge, and they were like not trusting science because science was literally killing people with lobotomies. And they wanted world peace.
Fair.
And apparently that's one of the mantras of Scientology is like world peace. So love that. And it was just like for the people. It was to give people tools and clarity to make rational decisions in life. The audits were extremely helpful to so many people. Even today, people say that the audits are amazing because it's basically just therapy. It helps them understand the way that they are. It helps them come to terms with negative emotions, heals trauma in this life. It doesn't have to be in the past life. But I mean, they get into that, I guess. That's someone to listen to your problems, and it helps you to come to like an understanding with yourself. It's more of a philosophy than a religion.
Fair enough.
There's no like God. They just believe in a spirit.
A little lost, but fair enough.
Okay, fair enough. So now that I've convinced you Scientology isn't bad.
That's the problem here. I'm just so like, it's not. Okay.
Okay.
I'm
So,
ready.
okay,
I don't want to
you're
get my
gonna-
hopes up. You know, I'm trying to like protect
Don't.
myself.
You're
Yeah,
gonna. This
okay,
next
I'm ready
part
for
was
this
meant
part.
to like.
I'm ready for this part.
If the first part had done anything to you, this next part might like reverse everything that I just told you.
Okay.
So the first ceremony you have to take place in order to like become inaugurated into the Church of Scientology.
Yeah.
This is like a more recent development in it. In the 60s and the 70s, they weren't really practicing this. This kind of started happening in the 90s.
This is the culty part. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
When it became a cult. When it went from a religion, a fake
Yeah.
religion to a cult. Okay.
So they had this purification ceremony. Short
Uh-huh.
form was purif.
Uh-huh.
And it started with like this multivitamin cocktail. And one of the main ingredients is called niacin. And they named it Clear Body, Clear Mind. And the recommended dose from Scientology is 100 milligrams. And then over the 4 weeks that you do your purification ceremony, it increases to 500 milligrams. Now, the medically recommended dosage
Okay, this
is
is what I was waiting for. Okay.
15 milligrams.
Nice.
So they're overdosing on niacin. And
What is
then
niacin?
I'm not sure.
Is that like niacinamide?
I'm not
Put on
100%
my
sure.
skin?
It's a vitamin. It's just like this
The
kind
ordinary?
of vitamin. Maybe. And they're just like eating it. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
All
But they get toxic symptoms because of it, and they're told to like expect these kind of toxic symptoms such as like dizziness, skin irritation, headaches.
Let me guess. That's just a sign that it's working.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's releasing the radiation from their body. Yeah. And you
Right.
obviously need to have a clear body in order to have a clear mind. And they have to drink half a cup of pure oils per day.
What's pure oils? Just like an oil?
Vegetable oil.
Ew. So then they get fat.
Yeah, so that it replaces the fat that they're losing through this next part, which is they have to sit in a sauna for like 4 to 6 hours a day and like sweat out everything. And they need to like drink hella water and like take these kind of like calciums and magnesiums and potassiums in this multivitamin mix in order to keep themselves like kind of okay. So they have to take it like 3 times a day. And this costs $5,000.
Of course.
Just wanted to throw that in there. You know, nothing comes at a cost. I mean, nothing comes for free. We'll get to that. Trust me, bro. So word gets around that this dude is so money hungry. And I honestly think it's because he was getting tax exemptions for the religion as well. Because he
Yeah,
was
that's
just
the other thing. You make it into
Right?
a religion, you suddenly don't have to pay taxes.
And he's just getting like hella
Okay.
people in it. And I don't know, people had to pay their way up the spiritual purity ladder. There's 5 levels of spiritual purity that you can reach in Scientology, and when you get first entered, you're obviously at the lowest one, and then you can like slowly get your way up to the highest one. And not a lot of people are at the highest one because like it literally costs like $1 million. Like,
Because
it's
of the state of the economy and minimum wage and the 40-hour work week. And
not
yeah.
everyone can be Scientologists
Not
because it's
everyone
just
can be
too
Scientologists.
damn expensive. But yeah, and in some cases, they won't even let you pass after you paid the money to like help them feel legit, you know, because they're like, well, you didn't do your readings and you didn't do your studying and you obviously don't believe in Scientology that hard. So you actually don't get to pass and you have to start over. And then you have to repay for like weeks and weeks of auditing. And this was coming out after about 20, 30 years of the religion being formed. And so celebrities who originally he was using to endorse it were now the ones causing the downfall. Haha. So here's a bunch of fucked up shit I found out about Scientology and what it's done to people. Dude, the first one literally is so fucking sad. So I don't know if you guys know this, but John Travolta, Grease is the word, you know, our boy.
Grease is the word.
So he's in the Church of Scientology. I honestly must have forgotten about that, but I kind of found out like this really sad thing. So he had this kid named Jet, and at the age of 16, he died from a seizure. And it was super tragic. And while they were in the ambulance, since he believes in the immortal spirit, he tried to command the spirit back into his son's body. And like it obviously like didn't work. You can't command a spirit. And then they had to go through a few months of auditing to like get through the trauma and like work through it and stuff. And his wife became pregnant with their second son while she was getting audited. And because of that, they believed that the Thetan of Jet was called back into their second son, Ben. So something that kind of really like concerns me about this, like aside from the fact that this is like just tragic, is that the kid Ben is also growing up in the Church of Scientology. And like I can't imagine how he probably feels. Like because they're probably very open about the fact that he is like also his brother. Yeah.
Talk about trauma.
I know, they're literally forcing people to have trauma. And like that's what I don't understand about the kids who are in Scientology, because there's hella children that are in Scientology. I don't understand how they have like trauma to deal with that isn't directly given to them through the Church of Scientology. Like the church literally makes them go to like these camps and like do like labor and cleaning and like just not things that kids should be doing. And he's just like, I don't know. I just feel so bad for him. And he's being forced to like remember the trauma of his past life of like having a seizure and dying.
They're like, this happened to you.
It's so sad.
That's wild.
Isn't that so wild? Maybe he's grateful he gets a second chance with the family, but like, yeah, talk about trauma, bro. Big facts. So Tom Cruise is also in the Church of Scientology. I think he's probably the most famous person. Like, he's most outspoken about being in Scientology. So I have like a little bit of a short story for you about him. After his divorce, he got involved with the church, and there are 2 kids in there, and they were forced to stop speaking to their mom, Nicole Kidman, and they were fed lies about what a terrible person she is so that they would hate her. And so that just because she didn't approve of having the kids in the church, she was seen as this like suppressive person, is what people in your family who aren't in Scientology are called. And most people who join the Church of Scientology are forced to cut off their families if they don't choose to join the church.
Yeah, I've heard.
But guess who's
this.
exempt from that rule?
Excommunicated.
Famous people, yeah. People are afraid of getting excommunicated and shit like that, and like it's so much money. Like I can't. There's this other side story about his sister Miriam, who is also in the Church of Scientology. She was told off for selling rugs on the side. She had secondhand rugs that she purchased, and the church said it was embarrassing for Tom that she was selling secondhand rugs. And like a lot of people
buy
in the
into
church,
the religion.
and a lot of people in the church were doing this, and they shared a rug dealer because they were doing it because they didn't have money, because they were full-time Scientologists, and they were like, you have to stop, it's embarrassing to be seen selling rugs on the side. And so Tom Cruise started paying for her courses so that she could live there and stop selling rugs and like won't be excommunicated from the church. Yeah, and he doesn't talk to one of his daughters because she isn't in the church too.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not so
nice.
fucked up.
So Scientology is basically capitalism meets religion meets an abusive boyfriend. They came together and they made like a fucking
Just the most toxic situation you could ever imagine.
Because they force people to be dependent on the church because they say you can't talk to anyone who's outside of the church. You have to cut these people off. So then you have no one else to support you. You only have the people in the church, and then you have to work to pay for all these things. And you have no choice but to pay for all these things because you've cut off every other single person in your life that supports you.
Yeah. It's a cult.
Yeah.
It's like it didn't have to be a cult, you know? It started off with such good intentions. Why did it have to turn into this culty ass freaking situation? It pisses me off. Like, it could have been okay, you know?
Yeah.
But they just decided, fuck it, cult. Oh God. Okay, so I have this kind of last-ish story about this. Oh my God, this poor girl, Sam Domingo. She isn't famous, but I think she's a good example of how normal people get treated inside of the church. So she was poached when she was 20 years old. She called it poached. She signed a 1 billion year contract, which you can do because your soul is everlasting. And once she got
how do they hold you to it?
I don't know.
How do they find you in the next life?
That's a good question. I'm honestly not sure.
Wow.
Maybe they approach random people on the street
Could
and
you
they're
imagine?
like, you used to be Sam. Get over here. We have a spot for you.
You signed a contract with us. Hello?
Oh God, this poor girl. So she started dating one of the president's officers, and she was actually pregnant, and she was coerced into having an abortion because they didn't want the officer to leave his position and transfer to a smaller church with her. And after that, they were divorced, and she never saw him again. That was only the first offense that they did against her. Oh my God. They literally fucked her life up. I feel so freaking bad for her. So she started dating someone else, this guy named Placido Domingo Jr. And apparently he was like super high up in the palace. So as punishment for like dating this guy who was close to the top people, she was sent to a rehabilitation project force, an RPF. And this is where she had to do this thing called Rat's Alley. And Rat's Alley is this punishment that even Scientologists are afraid of. It's this grease pit under the big blue building. I'm assuming this is the Scientology building that we've all seen in those pictures. And there's like these tunnels, which are 3 feet big, and you have to go through on a dolly and like propel yourself under this like wall and clean it up. And you get swarmed with like rats and cockroaches and silverfish. I don't know what silverfish are, but you have to like lie down and like, clean and shit. Ugh, gross. So yeah, and she was literally stuck there for like 4 weeks. She worked until 8 o'clock in the evening and then studied until 10 p.m. and then woke up at 7 a.m. and had like 2 hours a day of auditing. And the rest of your time, you're just like, she called it serving your rehabilitation. After that, she tried to escape by jumping out a window.
No kidding.
Right?
No fucking kidding.
Right? And she got caught and was forced into 2 weeks of interrogation. And after that 2 weeks of interrogation, in a twisted turn of events, she joined the High Council of Scientologists and got to mingle with the celebrities. She had 3 kids. She was treated like royalty because she was associated with this Placinto guy. She calls him Plassy. And apparently, surprise, surprise, the grandfather was rich as fuck, and over 5 years he gave the church $2 million so that he could see his grandchildren, because he wasn't in the church, but he wanted to be able to see his grandchildren, like, because she had 3 kids, and he wanted to be able to see his other son, who was also in the Church of Scientology. Let me take you through some of the fees that he had to encounter. $100,000 for membership cards.
Okay.
$40,000 for a freeloader bill when she left the Sea Org, which is like when she left that one place to go to that other place. She got a freeloader bill. $20,000 for auditing, and then $20,000 for a founding patron card.
Like, how do they enforce these? Like, if the Church of Scientology gave me a bill for $100,000 for a freeloader bill, I'd be like, no. Like, what are you going to do about it? Like, they can't call the cops. They can't be like, she owes me a freeloader bill. Like, it's not a real bill.
That's eventually what she ended up doing. She was like, she
Just
eventually
don't pay
got so
them. Like,
fucking
what are they
sick of
gonna
this.
do?
She like stopped paying for it, and then she was like, because I guess they get so scared of being excommunicated that
Yeah.
it's just like the biggest threat. And
But
like,
they
oh my
have to
fucking
do
god,
that. That's the thing. That's where the like abusive boyfriend thing comes in, because like they make you entirely dependent on the church, so you have to pay it. But if
Yeah.
they didn't do that, then like they would literally have no power, because these things aren't real. These bills aren't
literally.
real. You don't have to pay these things.
I know, she was
There's
like,
no
it's
reason.
I know. She eventually realized that, and she was like,
That's
she
good.
took her kids and she hid in like the trunk of a car to try to escape and shit like
God.
that. And then she was just like living somewhere else, and they found her and they started tampering with her shit. They broke the brakes on her car, and they harassed her with phone calls, like 100 phone calls a day,
Oh
and
my
just being like,
God.
you gotta come back to the church, you gotta come back to the church. And then she was like, bro, fuck you, you idiots. Like, all you're gonna do is excommunicate me, and like,
Literally.
and then what? You literally can't do shit. Yeah, but it wasn't always like that, because there at one point there was this rule that L. Ron Hubbard made called R245.
Okay.
This is described as a enormously effective process for exteriorization, but its use is frowned upon by society at this time. So this word that I had trouble pronouncing, exteriorization, refers to the
gotcha.
separation refers to the separation of the thetan, the soul, as you remember, from the
Uh-oh.
body.
Uh-oh.
According
I don't like that.
to Hubbard, it's defined as a process which could be produced by shooting someone in the head with a 45
there
revolver.
it is. There it is. But that's interesting. That murder.
Yes, it is very interesting.
Okay.
They only
Fine.
had orders to use them on specific individuals who were prominent in basically exposing Scientology, and he called them enemies of mankind, the planet, and all life. And if ordered, any member could use it
Kill them.
on them during an auditing process.
Use it.
They're like, just remove the thetan from
So
the
if
body.
they're not compliant,
Sometimes it
just
has
shoot
to be
them in the
done.
head.
Yeah. Luckily, this practice
The
has been
simple
frowned upon.
solution.
Oh my god.
Frowned
Bro.
upon.
Very much frowned upon by society. But I guess
By
it's
the
like,
law, by morals,
literally everybody. Yeah.
Okay, and this is where I have a fun fact for you and for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
My kindergarten was a school of Scientology.
What?
I went to
What?
a
Are you
Scientology
serious?
school for, I think it was like 2 years.
Are you serious, Courtney?
I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
Well, did you? Why? I have so many questions. Did your parents send you? Did you
Yeah.
learn anything? Do you remember anything? Did they know it was
No,
Scientology?
okay, so I didn't know until, I don't know. I was like quite a bit older when I found out. I think I was in high school, but
Jesus.
it wasn't like the Church of Scientology. It wasn't like a church. It was just that, like, I guess all like the teachers and the students were members of the Church of
Yeah.
Scientology. So this was a school where they were, I guess, accepted.
This.
and
Yes.
I
The girl I was
was-
talking about was also sending her kids to one of those schools. Holy shit!
I
Courtney.
was a very unique child. And I did not conform to a regular kindergarten classroom very well, and I was kind of struggling in school. So my mom decided to send me to this school because it was kind of unique.
Oh.
And it was honestly probably one of the best experiences I've ever had. It was the most fantastic freaking kindergarten. Yeah. I have like nothing but the best memories from this school. It was amazing.
No
like instead of
way.
like to learn things, we would just like go outside for walks and like catch snails and like race them. And then like in the classroom, there was a 2-story dollhouse that we could play in.
Dude.
Like it was so much fun. We had so much fun.
I'm glad they're putting
I
that
feel
money
like I
to
learned
good use.
so much. Yeah, it was great.
Dude, that's
And
so
I had no
fun.
idea. They didn't say anything about Scientology, anything about the religion. I mean, we were kindergarten. They
Yeah.
didn't try to make me remember my birth, which is also good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now grateful for that. That's something that I didn't know I had to be grateful for, but I am now. But yeah,
Holy
no,
shit,
it was the
that
most
sounds like fun.
fantastic kindergarten experience ever. It was such a fun school. There was a dog at the school.
Dude,
It was so much fun.
that's so cool. That's
Yeah.
so unique. That is an amazing fun fact.
That's a really and the school no longer exists.
Oh no.
got shut down. But it was really nice.
Well,
I don't know if maybe it gets like a little bit more like culty in maybe the older grades
maybe
that were there.
they probably start talking about the church and stuff, but I think the
Yeah.
church stuff is really just like on the weekends, like after school is over, you know, it's just a way of life.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just a way of life afterwards. Did you make any friends? Like, do you still talk to anyone from kindergarten?
No,
Okay.
I did.
But at the
probably, yeah. I made like one friend that I was friends with for a really long time until I like moved schools. I was in like middle school, and then we just kind of lost touch. But yeah, I did meet really good friends and
They were all in
had
Scientology.
a great experience. Have so many good memories
Oh my
from the
god.
school.
What else do you remember from it?
I remember on like, I guess it would have been, what's that Irish holiday?
St. Patty's?
St. Patty's Day. Our teacher like pretended that our like classroom got like raided by like little like freaking elves, and she literally put like footprints everywhere and like piled our shoes, that they were like going through our shoes, and she like opened the door and she was like, oh my god, look, they're running away, and like we all ran over and like looked out, but she was like, oh, you missed them. And I literally believed for such a long time that there were like freaking elves
Leprechauns
running
were
around
real?
in that classroom.
That's so awesome.
It was so much fun.
That's so amazing. That's so wholesome. What was different about it versus a regular kindergarten? Like, how did you end up
It's
learning your
just-
ABCs and like?
I don't think it
other
was like
shit that you need to
structured
know?
like school. I think it was more structured like play learning almost. Yeah, I think it was just more fun and like less pressure about like performance. And it turns out that the reason I didn't want to learn my ABCs was because I was competitive and my brother knew his ABCs. And if I learned the ABCs, then my brother would be better at the ABCs than me. And I couldn't have it happen, so I just refused to learn the ABCs. And my mother had me tested because she thought I was a literal idiot because I couldn't learn my ABCs. But it turns out I just didn't want to.
You were just too
I just
smart
did not
for the
want
system.
to. Yeah, I was like, no.
I love that.
No.
You're like, I'm not conforming to
If
this
I start
shit.
trying, then people are going to be better than me. So no.
Oh my
I just
god,
didn't do
that's
it.
so,
And then I went to a Scientology school and I learned my ABCs and I had a lot of fun.
that's so cute. Oh my god, and you just learned to be rational about life, like the lessons
Yes,
of Scientology.
that's probably when I became like a little freaking communist, just in that school, where they were like,
wonder if
resist the
communism is-
structure.
Yeah, bro.
like, yeah.
Fuck it. I love that. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's
Now you all know a little bit more about it.
Thank you so much for listening to our opinions this week. Thanks for listening to Courtney's diamond heist and how the heist was actually an Uno reverse card on us because they heisted us. Now we're fucked because of the diamonds. And thank you for listening to my chat about Scientology. I hope you guys enjoyed both of these little things today on this beautiful whatever it is, evening, morning, day. You can check us out on Instagram at very.unimportant.people. You can send us an email at hatersclickhere@gmail.com, and that's HATRS@gmail.com. Send us your music. We love having musicians on. You can find us on Patreon. That's in the link in our description on Instagram. Trust me, it's easy. Just go to our Instagram, click on the link, click on Patreon. You're there. There's a lot of great stuff on there. You can follow us on Twitter, the unimportant PPL, and you can follow us on TikTok. Woo! Get on there. Have a great